Hello to all you out there listening. I'm Ian Clifford, a high school wrestler, joined by
Jarrett Forster.
we are high school wrestlers for Columbia City, and I am a 220-pound wrestler for the Columbia City team. I am currently a junior, going to be a senior next year.
So I wrestled at 138 this year. I'm a senior this year, so sadly I won't be able to be with the team next year, but hopefully things will go well for them.
So the first thing we got to talk about is how our season went. That was an awful transition. So first up on our list is, so Jarrett and I both had a very successful season, at least in our eyes. Hopefully the coaches would say that we had a successful season as well. But not just us, our entire team had a very good season. Just ended not too long ago, about, a month ago?
Yep, roughly around a month ago.
We had our 14 guys in our lineup.
So as a team, we did really well. What did we end up going as a team in dual meets? Were we
I think we
15-1?
lost
We only lost one.
one match against
Leo. It was
Leo.
against Leo.
It was a very close match, and we were out. How many guys?
We had 5 guys out, sadly, but we never want to blame it on that. But that definitely did obviously have
It
a
was a
factor in it.
contributing factor. But Leo is a very good team, so credit to them.
We did go against a lot of tough teams this year. We started off going against Belmont. Obviously, that was a battle from the whole thing.
Tough rivalry we have with them.
Yep. It's been a while since we beat them as a team, but we were actually able to pull it out this year.
With Jarrett as actually our final victory against them. He pulled off a very close match, finally pulled out the winning score for us. It was very impressive to watch. Scene. Okay. So, outside the regular season, when it came to our postseason in sectionals, I'd say we did fairly well. We brought almost all of our guys to regionals.
We ended up having 10 guys make it through. No, we had 9 guys make it through to regionals, and then we ended up having 7 go to semi-state.
Which is the most we've had in, I'd say, quite a while, at least that from I've been here.
Yeah, it was since the last time our coach has brought that many. I think he said it was around 10 years ago or so that he's had that many kids move on to semi-state.
We had 2 other kids that actually made it to state, which would be on top of our semi-state kids. We had 2 kids from those 7 that made it to state, which were Jarrett and I. Unfortunately, we didn't place anywhere at state. We qualified, but it was still a fun experience, as Jarrett would probably recall.
Yep, we both went down there, had a lot of fun. It was just very nice to be down there in front of that scenery. It's very energetic down there, especially if you do end up making it into like the finals match. Being under that spotlight is just something that very few get to experience, but it looks like it would be so much fun.
And I can say anyone that knows our team very well would say that we are not the only 2 that deserve to be down there. We had a few other wrestlers that were definitely credible for going down there. Alton Molnex and Ryan Sheets were 2 that come to mind. They were at semi-state. I believe Alton was 1 match away, or no.
Yeah, Alton lost a tough match. He was gonna have to battle to get out to make it to state. He ended up losing. It was very close. I think it was only 1 or 2 points in the first match that he had. And then Ryan won his first match at semi-state, and then he had a very tough draw to make it through to state. It was a close match. He could have won, but there's just that drive there that I think if he would have had a little more, he could have gone all the way.
Both very good wrestlers, put in a lot of work their season. They were seniors, so unfortunately they didn't have the chance to come through, but I think they should be proud of their accomplishments and what they have done. Same with all of our wrestlers. I'd say that this year and last year we have had a very hard work ethic, at least compared to what I saw our freshman year, or my freshman year. In the wrestling room, in the practice, it was just intense, especially the starting 2 weeks. Typically, those are the starting 2 weeks are very lethargic and laid back because we're just starting out, but last 2 years, it's just been hit the floor running, and it was nice to see that.
Yep, they really decided to change up the style because a lot of the times we had new kids coming in each year, so they'd take those first 2 weeks to obviously kind of try and incorporate them and make sure they understand what they're doing. But this year, they just wanted to go from the start, conditioning nonstop. There was no dull moment in practice year. That's what I can say.
And I can definitely guarantee that that is why we had such a successful season this year, only losing one to Leo. I think our work ethic was the biggest factor that played into that, and I think we need to keep that going for the years to come, even when I am gone, old, gray.
God. Have a stroke. So obviously, a lot of people know that we had the new school built this year. So with the new school, we had a lot of new facilities and opportunities available. One of the new things that we got was a new wrestling room, which was very much so needed from us. The past few years practicing over at the old ETA, or as some people know, the Marshall Building. It was a very nice, it's just the environment to practice in there. But it was very nice to actually have a new wrestling room, all cleaned up and everything. Well, the best part's not having to roll up mats every day. That was very nice.
True. And it's not just the wrestling room either. New gymnasium, weight room has been very beneficial to all athletes that we have, wrestlers included. The weight room is very nice this year and is actually right next to the wrestling room. So if you wanted to work out and then do anything athletically, you could just... God dang. I am so sorry. So due to our successful season, Coach Culp, our head coach, many would know him as Blaine Culp, he is looking for tougher competition for next year. We are actually moving up to 3A. We were actually 2A this year and the years past, and that's 2A is just the size of your school by population and how many kids you have. And I'm assuming due to an influx of kids, we are moving up to 3A. And so what that means for us is that we're going to have a lot bigger schools when it comes to competition. And something we did last year that I believe we got fourth at was Team State. And this year we did not go due to...
we did not qualify. So how they do Team State is based upon you get points for how many returning wrestlers you have and how far they make it into sectionals, regional, semi-state, or state. So we had 4 people go to semi-state last year. It was me, Ryan, Carter, and Jackson. And since Jackson was the only one that made it through to state, we were not able to acquire as many team points as we would have needed to qualify for Team State the next year.
And due to how many kids we had at semi-state, regionals, and state this year, we easily qualified. I wouldn't say easily, but we're
towards the end of there. I think we're 9th or 10th right now for qualifying teams. So we've got enough points so far. So hopefully you guys will have some success going down the Team State next year if you choose to.
And we're definitely going to have to put in a lot more work than what we did to get fourth at Team State 2 years ago, because that was 2A. And so 3A, as I mentioned, we're going to have a lot bigger schools, such as, I don't know what encompasses 3A, but...
more southern schools, a lot of the indie schools. Some of the indie schools are obviously 4A, but there's some down there. So just having bigger schools, meaning more kids, tougher competition. That's what he's looking for, because he knows we need the tougher competition to start getting the edge against other teams.
And that's definitely something that you should keep an eye on, because Team State is going to be very interesting this next year. And then on top of Team State, in our regular season, our coach is also looking for better schools to wrestle when it comes to dual meets, which is, if you don't know, a dual meet is just where one team wrestles the next. Team State is a whole tournament of dual meets. And then, so when it comes to dual meets, he's hoping to get big schools such as Carroll, Penn, I believe. Lafayette Harrison is another tournament that we're planning on going to. It's a big tournament, Lafayette Harrison being, I think, a 4A school.
Lafayette, yeah, they're either 3A or 4A, but the tournament we had with Lafayette this year was sadly canceled, the COVID and everything, which we go down there. It's a 2-day tournament. We wrestle 8 matches in total, so it was kind of unfortunate that we weren't able to get those 8 matches in, but we still got to work with what we can and keep pushing through it.
And I think we can do very well next year at that tournament as well, because we have a lot of kids returning that weren't seniors last year, and also incoming freshmen that I believe have the ability.
Yep. So with obviously me, Alton, and Ryan all graduating, we were all in the varsity lineup. you will have kids that are able to come in and fill in those gaps. Obviously, you had Tanner and Jordan both in the varsity lineup. Both will obviously move up a weight class to fill those gaps. With me leaving at 138, you have the potential of Allen moving up to 138 or Jacob Akers even making it in the lineup and staying in there.
When it comes to the bigger kids, we unfortunately are losing Ryan Sheets and Alton Molnix, as we have talked about. They are some of our most relied on wrestlers this last season. Had a lot of wins for us, a lot of pins, but unfortunately they're going to be gone. But I believe that we are going to have a lot more kids, such as Nathan Hodges, Tanner Reed, Jordan Driver, all those middleweight class sophomores and freshmen are going to be coming in at those weight classes, and I believe can fill in those spots very easily, and it's not going to be much of a loss for us at all. And then the really big weight classes where I'm at, we got Jack Maley at 195, Sebastian Rose at 182, me at 220, and then Chance Geiger at heavyweight. Chance Geiger is someone that you should be looking at as well. He was a first-year wrestler this year and had a very good season. Wrestling him in the practice room, he's very athletic for how big he is, and he's quick, strong, and then that's how it is for all of our upper weight wrestlers as well.
And that's one of the things that we really did see this year too, was a lot of times we'll start out the season with a lot of new wrestlers, but towards we get to the end of the season, most of them just end up not wanting to do it anymore. That's something different we saw this year. We saw a lot of drive from newcomers for wrestling and a real passion for them actually wanting to stay and compete. And hopefully that will stay with them these next couple of years, and we'll really see some success from new wrestlers.
So when it comes to motivation, I believe that that was an awful transition. I'm sorry. Cut.
So as us having a very large team this year, we were also able to expand, and we actually had an all-girls team this year, which I believe, did we have eight?
8 or 9, I believe.
8 or 9 wrestlers so far. And oh my goodness, they are willing to put up a fight. I can say that. The motivation we saw from them this year and the commitment, because most of them were newcoming wrestlers this year, but just the motivation they had and the commitment. Were there 2 that went down to state this year?
2 or 3.
Yep. I believe it was Lauren Platt was one of them, and then
Haley Thompson, Ann Rice,
yep,
and
Ann.
I'm so sorry if I'm leaving anybody else out there.
I believe it was just those 3 that made it this year. But we, from what we've seen so far with a lot of the girl wrestlers, we could have all of them down there. Lydia Heron is one of them. She was injured, so she was not able to go, and so was Vivica Shakan. Was injured when she was wrestling at a girls' all-star meet, so she sadly was not able to go down there and compete.
And we have no idea where they came from. We had, 2 or 3 girls last year on our team?
Yep. Well, we didn't necessarily have a girls' team last year. We had a couple people who came out, wrestled around a little bit, but I think after they did that, they really decided that they liked it and everything, and that's kind of what pushed towards the full girls' team this year.
Yeah, they started recruiting other girls, and then before we knew it, it was 9 people we had on the team. And I think it's going to get even larger next year with how popular it's becoming and how successful our season was. I think a lot of girls are going to be more interested in it.